Hello and welcome in to the Louisiana Tech Bulldogs post-game show, Tech in 10 from the Ruston Daily Leader. I am sports editor Matt Belinson coming to you live from Joe Aillet Stadium after Louisiana Tech's 25-17 win over the Nicholls Colonels to open the 2024 season. Definitely not the prettiest win for Louisiana Tech in program history, but certainly given where this program has been in terms of picking up wins over the last couple of years, a win's a win, frankly. And Sonny Cumbie said as much post game. When you talk to this team, there's a lot of talk about the defense just being overhauled in the offseason with a new defensive coordinator, a lot of new names and some key positions. And the defense clearly, stood out tonight. I think they forced 9 punts total, had 6 sacks. Kobe Fields, Zach Zymos, Sifo Leota, Blake Thompson. There were a lot of names that really stood out for this group in terms of taking the ball away or just creating pressure. It was just a great all-around performance defensively. Offensively, that's where things are really concerning. If I'm just observing Louisiana Tech at this point, it's only one game, but you come in against an FCS opponent that you, on paper, should outmatch. There was a lot of talk about Jack Turner, knowing this offensive system, and they've got playmakers around him, but we just need to figure out who's going to step up. Unfortunately, Jack left this game, before the first quarter ended with a knee injury. Sonny Cumbie didn't have an official update on his timeline to return, but he is encouraged that Jack will be back at some point, but they're going to do an MRI here in the coming weeks to figure out his official status. And Blake Baker, he came in, made a nice couple throws, definitely turned over the ball in some critical situations that I think he would have definitely liked to have back. Finished 12 of 24 for 207 yards, 1 touchdown, 2 interceptions. Overall it was okay. For your first collegiate appearance ever, and also given the weather conditions, but I think offensively there were just there were so many question marks coming into this season about who are the playmakers, how are they going to score consistently, how are they going to drive down the field, are the quarterbacks ready for this much pressure on them, just given how much inexperience they have. And I think one game, again, I don't want to draw grand conclusions about the offense, but I will say I definitely I was a little bit more encouraged towards the end, obviously, when Nicholls was trying to put up a fight there. But, I think passing-wise, there was a lot to be desired. Marlon Jackson and Jay Wilkerson had some explosive plays, kind of burning their defensive backs that were covering them on some 30-plus yard receptions. But, other than that, there wasn't really a ton. A lot of screen passes, a lot of things underneath. There were some drop passes, overall, just passing-wise, there was a lot of questions that I think we knew coming in, and I don't know if a ton of that was answered. You scored 25 points. It wasn't exactly a barn burner here, and I think if you're a Louisiana Tech fan, I'm sure you're happy to get the win, but the offense, the struggles out of the gate are definitely concerning, especially when you just think about five takeaways that Nicholls created against this team. And you talk about 2 interceptions, or 3 interceptions, I should say, from your quarterbacks. Then you got a fumble from Marquise Crosby at the 2-yard line. And then you have 2, fumbles, on the special teams. And so it was just overall just not a great performance. And I do think, if you want to look at it from the bright side, running wise, they didn't get much going, but I did like some of the passing options that they had and kind of some of the unique situations. I thought Jimmy Holiday on some end-around stuff, worked. He obviously scored a touchdown there to kind of put the Bulldogs ahead, the decisive score that they needed. It was kind of interesting to see how they were going to use him. We didn't see a ton of Abdul Ibrahim tonight. They targeted him on a deep ball with Jack early in the game, but really didn't hear his name called much the rest of the night. Marlon Jackson had a couple of nice catches too, and Eli Finley was targeted a little bit, but just overall, passing-wise, there was not much to speak of in terms of, I think, success. And Sonny Cumbie acknowledged it post-game. Megan Murray, a local TV reporter here in town, asked Coach Cumbie to kind of give an overall grade of, I guess, the season opener, and he gave the team overall a C-, so already a pretty tough grader, and then he comes back and gave the offense and special teams an F and a D-, and so and I think with good reason. Clearly, I think Sonny Cumbie is not someone that, at least in my experience, that has ever been blind to criticism, ever been blind to where things have gone wrong, and I think just given where this offense and just special teams performed tonight. I mean, when you turn over the ball over 5 times, when you fumble inside the red zone, when you have opportunities to put Nicholls away, and you let them hang around, and if it wasn't obviously for the turnover on downs to end the game, I mean Nicholls had the ball with a minute 53 left, down by 8. I mean they could have they could have had an opportunity to go down and score. So this game definitely should have been put out of hand, I think, earlier on. And again, a win is a win if you're Louisiana Tech, but I think just at this point, again, when you're coming off 3 straight 3-9 seasons, I think you'll take a win where you can get them. Again, obviously Jack's health is definitely going to be a question mark for this team. I didn't think Blake Baker, I don't think showed enough where you can definitely say, I mean, obviously if Jack's hurt, that's a different story. But clearly, if Jack is healthy, I mean, he is this team's starting quarterback. In the limited action we saw, he wasn't perfect, but I did think he made enough plays where you can say, hey, there's something to build off here. That being said, his forced interception on that screen pass where the pressure kind of got to him definitely wasn't great. Should have just thrown the ball away, or definitely could have picked up the blitz. Pre-snap it was pretty obvious, just again from the press box view, but. They were bringing a lot of outside pressure, Nicholls was, and they got Tech on that a couple times. And so, going forward, obviously Tech has a week off here before they play NC State on the road. I think if you're Louisiana Tech, you obviously are grateful that you get more time to kind of get Jack healthy and allow him to, potentially rehab his knee injury. And if not, it gives you another, week or so to get Blake Baker fully involved with the first team offense, give him those reps. He obviously had to battle, Evan Bullock for the starting, or for the backup job, I should say, in fall camp, and he obviously won it for a reason. The staff has confidence in him, to bring, a level of poise if Jack is not available to go. And I think overall, again, for a first collegiate start, 207 yards, a touchdown, 2 interceptions, it's fine. I think, but again, just generally offensively, it was just not at a point where I think you can say, boy, all the talk in the preseason about how they've got these skill players and we have these good, just talent that we can build with and score in bunches with. So far, not so much, not at all, frankly. And again, defensively, really great. Took the ball away a couple times. Got some really great pressure. 6 sacks after 16 total in 2023. That's a big deal. Again, it is an FCS opponent, so we'll obviously see next couple weeks against NC State and then Tulsa towards the end of the month, kind of if that carries over. But overall, again, I think it was kind of a mixed bag of results, and I think if you're Louisiana Tech, I think you're thrilled to start the year off with a win. But other than that, I don't think there's really much to say in terms of happiness. I mean, this is a team that you definitely should have won by more, and you could definitely see the frustration in Sonny Covey's face post game. I think he recognizes that this offense definitely delivered a stinker, and I think they recognize that there's a lot of work to be done, whether Jack is healthy or not. So, overall thoughts, again, good to get a win, but offensively, there was just so much mess out there tonight that I don't know how you could really look at that as a positive. But they'll have a week to fix their mistakes, and before they go to NC State, and we'll see how they do. So that's going to do it for me on this late evening here at Joe Aillet Stadium. But for the Ruston Daily Leader, I am Matt Belinson. Thank you all for listening. Have a good one.